Our first big tour was right after COVID. I was seeing all these like weird black kids that found us through like TikTok or like Instagram or something like that. They were just coming to shows and being like, this means the world to me. I've been to these shows before, but I've never seen someone that looks like me doing it.
What's going on? This is Ben from Real Ones. This is going to be our last South by Southwest interview of the bunch, but I would be remiss if I did not get the chance to speak with Blvck Hippie. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
So I appreciate, you taking the time.
I was asleep like an hour and 20 minutes ago. We're crashing with that at a fan's apartment this whole South by. And we all took naps, and then like on the drive here, we listened to "Wake Me Up Inside" and what's that one System of the Down song? Chop Suey, yeah. Anything with "Wake Up" in it. And then we ended on Lincoln Park as we were pulling up for load-in. It was magical.
Well, whatever works, I think you gotta run it at this point. So
definitely.
You mentioned this was you and the band's 6th South by show. This week. You had one basically every day.
Yeah.
And you were coming from Dallas earlier in the week. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a marathon. I feel like the first few I was like, this is kind of sick. And the last couple I started getting kind of loopy. And this set I was like, man, I can't even feel my hands. I was like, I'm going to guesstimate these guitar solos and I'm sure they'll be fine. And they turned out fine. I was cool.
And I did see you even towards one of the solos put the guitar out and so fans could
strum
it and shit. And I just thought that was a cool touch. Y'all have toured a decent amount.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You just had a recent opening run, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we just opened up for Mags about a 10-day tour roughly. No, it was we did the whole thing was 2 weeks because it started in California and we're from Memphis, so we had to get there, play a couple shows up there and play a couple shows back. Super sick getting to open for another Black Friday indie project that's insanely sick. And it was super inspiring. Got to learn a lot from just being around someone that's bigger than us and kind of learning some of the habits and stuff, kind of stuff they put into practice and stuff. So it was pretty sick. Also playing sold out shows was also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There's this one majestic picture that my girlfriend took where it's this sold out crowd in LA and there's one person holding up one of our vinyls in the air during the song, and I was like, this is one Renaissance ass photo.
No, I love that. There are a couple that I've seen of just crowd surf. There was this one kind of Renaissance picture thing that I took yesterday. It was a screen cap on one of these videos of this girl crowd surfing. She's mid-fall and she has the hand up, face wide open.
Oh,
somehow she's looking directly at the person that's filming her. It's kind of insane. But.
Lol.
Yeah, so Mags, I actually know him and his manager. Was that the first opening run that y'all had done?
Yeah, we normally just do DIY touring where we're headlining. So we never really had experience with opening for a bigger band. We opened for this big Kansas City band called Making Movies, on a one-off. But we've never done a full tour. So it was pretty cool. I feel like it kind of spoiled us a bit. I doubt any opening slot would be that cool.
Right. Just even getting to soak up game, were y'all traveling together, and would you get the chance to really pick his brain and stuff?
A little bit. I feel like it was just kind of just seeing how he interacted with fans at the merch booth, or how he was able to always give his all, no matter how dog tired we were or how bad the drives were. Just seeing that was enough to be okay, there's levels to this kind of stuff. I was let me kind of find a way to make this as sustainable as he makes it, because touring is rough on the body, and I'm turn 28 next month, getting older, so I feel watching Elliot how sustainable he made tour is enough for me to be all right, how can I set my game up? What can I do to make
and he's
sure?
in his 30s, still
it's
understanding that.
Exactly, he was hanging from a rafter at one point. I saw him do a barrel roll into a crowd surf in LA, seeing that and being we both had the same terrible drive yesterday. We're both dog tired and talking about how tired we were a couple hours before this. And just seeing that was being oh man, if he can do it and make it sustainable, I can too. So I got to get my kind of step it up kind of thing.
He found the place,
exactly.
That he can go to in that situation. Yeah. I really just enjoy the reclamation movement of sort of black artists sort of saying we set the stage for rock to even exist. Yeah. I'm wondering if you're familiar with Benjamin Carter.
Benjamin Carter, I love Benjamin Carter. We were talking for a bit. I think he opened for Elliot.
This Make Out music show in LA.
And
I've done shows with them and stuff.
And I saw it and I was let me check it out. And then I added to it. We run a playlist for black indie fronted bands called Black Indie Tunes on Spotify and Apple Music.
Because he does the Make Rock Black again.
Yeah, too. And we added the song. We started chatting a bit. cool dude, sweetest dude ever. Sick music too, like love what he's doing. It's like every time he drops a song, it's a freaking banger.
So it's cool to see like who knows each other.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like we all kind of know each other, kind of know of each other. Like I got to meet Bartise, but like we've been chatting for a bit over like socials.
I saw him at the Stereo Gum party, but I didn't like fully kick in until I was like, hey, nice pants, man. And then I was like, oh, he was already passed.
Yeah, we chatted a bit. Love Bartise. Like a lot of the like bands like Proper and stuff, I got to like open for them years ago, cool with them. It's just like, it's kind of this really cool community where even if we barely know each other, we like deeply kind of care about each other, kind of look out for each other and stuff. There's no real competition. It's more of just like uplifting. I don't know, it's kind of healthy in a way that I feel like isn't around in a lot of like music spaces I've been in.
That is great to hear. There's a lot of, as you know, all sorts of controversies can come up with egos and all of that.
Exactly.
So, I mean, just what does it mean to you to just make this sort of style of music in general? Like, I'm sure you've gotten nice messages from folks that are like, I needed to hear this.
Yeah,
you know?
it's really cool. Like, I feel like it really kind of kicked in during our first big tour right after COVID in 2021. We did a 6-week tour. I was seeing all these like weird black kids that found us through like TikTok or like Instagram or something like that. And they were just coming to shows and being like, this means the world to me. I've been to these shows before. I've never seen someone that looks like me doing it. And then it kind of started sinking in by the time we played DC. And I was seeing all these like locks just like headbanging to our stuff. And I was like, oh man, and people posting being like, oh man, it's like the first time I ever felt like at home in an indie space because of this band. And like that's when it started kind of hitting me that like, I'm doing this for like more people. I was mostly just trying to do it to make music I liked.
Yeah.
And then I realized that like by doing that, I'm doing like what Kid Cudi did for me. And like all these other like
Cudi was
artists.
a big influence.
Yeah, definitely, and like showing that like black kids can be like weird and like go through things and like feel like depression and stuff like that, and like seeing that like my music's able to make that effect, it kind of like snowballed into like what I'm writing now, and I realized I could put my entire self into it because there's a bunch of other black kids that are looking to me to be the inspiration for them starting their own bands in the future, stuff like that. So I'm like, I can be my full self within my music and not feel like I have to like hide parts of myself, which is like a struggle I had early on with songwriting after being on the road and seeing my like the effect our music has on like a lot of other weird black kids. It's like, oh man, like this is our thing. It can be our thing, and I can like fully flesh it out in ways that I didn't think I could like years earlier.
That's like a kind of a natural conclusion to the idea of like what kind of keeps you going over the course of a tour.
Yeah, it's definitely that. I feel like every time I have a show, I'm like, oh, this is kind of bad. There's always this one person that walks up. Man, someone in San Antonio almost made me.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come up and it's like one dude was crying. He's like, hey, like, I needed this when I was like younger, and I'm glad I'm seeing it now. And like, yeah, me too. And I was like, shit, I wanted this when I was young too. I just wanted to be what like I felt like I didn't have growing up. It's really cool, and it keeps me going even on days where I'm like, I get into my own head or I get into my own ego or anything like that. It kind of keeps me grounded and makes me realize that like what I'm doing is far more important in the grand scheme of things than one small little hiccup I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? And it's just weird having fans in general. Like it's just like a weird concept because like we were going into the pandemic with only an EP out,
and numbers don't really like. It's hard to conceptualize what that looks like.
And then it's like people just knowing who we were. Like even South by, like we couldn't go 10 minutes without someone knowing who we were, and it was weird because we were like last year we were just some unknown kids, and now we're just walking around. Someone's like, oh, like you're Blvck Hippie. Oh, you're amazing. Oh, yes, this. Oh, I love this song. And it's like, oh man, this is crazy. It's a lot of people saying this. Like it's weird. We're not.
You start to really believe it.
Yeah,
it's kind of in a lot of spaces.
Like, I don't know. It's just like it's cool knowing that people care because I didn't do this thinking that anyone would. So it's like kind of crazy, like thinking about it.
I feel like I have so much more to ask you, but it is 2 a.m. It's very cold, so we're gonna wrap this up. Right. I just want to see if you had any message to the listeners out there.
Always do what you want to do. You don't need people to support you to be yourself and make your own art. No one thought I would be this successful. I didn't think I'd be this successful. I just wanted to do music that I cared about, and never cheat yourself, because at the end of the day, like you have to sleep with yourself at night, and that's my motto about everything. Because if people don't think you're doing anything that's good or decent or think you suck, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to go to sleep with yourself. So honestly, do whatever you want, make whatever art you want, because there's always going to be a market for it.
Josh, thank you so much. Appreciate the time.